Welcome everyone to the live stream. I'm your host, Tiger Stacker, and I'm here with my co-host today, Shawn's Precious Bullyon. How you doing, Shawn?
Good. How you doing, everybody? Happy to be here.
Well, today we're going to talk about something that we've talked about for years. Certainly the 4.5 years that I've been stacking, I've talked about it periodically, and that is the topic of unobtainium. Well, I don't know about all of you, but I didn't expect it to hit this soon. We're not quite at unobtainium, but it every day I see us getting just a little bit closer and a little bit closer and a little bit closer. So, welcome the Real Gear Up Survival. Welcome. We kind of did this kind of last minute. We were talking, decided to go ahead and do a live stream because everybody's been all up in arms. Whether you're buying, you're selling, you're holding, everybody's just all up in arms about what's going on with the price of gold and silver and other precious metals, for that matter of fact. And we're now breaking all-time records both in gold, silver. I've seen similar in platinum and palladium, although I don't really stack those. I just have a little bit just to make me watch the market. I'm kind of one of those guys, if I don't drive the bus, I don't know how to drive the bus. But basically, I just got a little bit in platinum and palladium just so I can watch the market. I had a buddy that wanted a palladium, and it was hard to get by, and I found an ounce of palladium, Canadian maple leaf palladium. I bought it for him. He sent me the money for it, and it's on its way to him. So, I do look after my buddies. What you been up to, Shawn?
Not much, man. Just been watching, like you said, watching the price of silver just keep going up and to the right. Seems it's like somebody hit it with the Fast and the Furious NOS system to hit it to like the 4-stage turbo. We're sitting at like $90-some an ounce.
Oh, ain't that the truth?
We're looking at $4,600 gold, $2,300 and change platinum. Like you said, palladium is like 1,800, but that's kind of a metal I stopped watching. I don't anyway.
Which one's that you stopped watching?
Palladium. I think it's had its time. I mean, I'm not saying it's worthless, but I think personally, it's something that I'm not going to invest in. I don't think there's again. That's just my 2 cents. I don't think there's enough.
Well, I know some people are big into it
versus other metals.
I know that some people are big into it. One of which is my friend Ian Everard. You've probably seen him on my channel. He owns a bullion shop up in Wyoming, and he's into a lot of precious metals that aren't what you would consider traditional monetary metals, such as gold and silver. He's into that too, but he does love to delve into platinum, palladium, this other thing called rhenium. Evidently, they use it's what he says. It's a byproduct of a byproduct, and our government and maybe others use it a lot in space technology. Airplanes, other things that we use in the military. Evidently, it strengthens the metals that it's bonded to. I'm just guessing. I'm not. Never really looked that much into it.
Gotcha.
Maybe one day one of them will tickle my fancy, and I'll get into it and start enjoying the science, because I am a little bit of a science buff, but
Gotcha.
but he's into all those.
Better than palladium myself personally.
I have a little bit of platinum, mainly. Let me show you the biggest reason why I bought a little bit of platinum, a little bit of palladium. Not only just to watch the markets, but I wanted to prove that this thing works.
The old Sigma, nice.
Oh yeah, and it works pretty well. I had to learn a lot about it because I was buying little tiny pieces of platinum and palladium, and when I bought 1/10 ounce rounds of platinum and 1/10 ounce bar of palladium, worked a little bit better. It made me look into the science of it, and I did a couple videos about the science of the Sigma Metalytics. But when I checked the palladium 1 ounce maple leaf, I did a short on that. Man, that thing worked like a charm on a 1 ouncer.
Nice. Yeah, I think that the more surface there is, I think the detector has a better chance. Like when it comes to like the full scan of what it's able to
not
do.
only just the surface, it's also the thickness, because that one goes completely through.
Right.
And one of these days I am going to buy a bridge to that, because I have a few pieces of silver that, even though they're not kilos or something like that, I have a few 10 ounces that are chunky and they won't fit in the probes. So, I just like playing with science. So, that's kind of a big ticket item for me. I just enjoy, what we do. Let me go over to the screen here. Welcome, Joseph Lopez and Hondo and Sliver of Silver and whoever is going to come in.
Yeah, I can't see the chat, so you'll have to update me as far as what they say. Unfortunately, I don't have the setup where it shows the chat here and stuff. I don't want to push any buttons by accident. I'm like, oh, well, there he goes. He's bought. Yeah. Anyway, so. But yeah.
Well, I will tell you that if we get to 25 likes, I'll be giving out a silver dime, and every 25 likes we'll get out another silver dime.
Nice.
And then, by the way, let's do it this way. If we get to three rounds of 25 likes, I'll give out a silver quarter. And if we get out to 100 likes, I'll go ahead and give away a silver $50.
Hey, now, that's a good prize to win for just watching some YouTube.
It's not so bad.
No, not so bad at all.
Not so bad at all.
Compare what what you used to be able to buy 90% to what you have to pay for it now. It's
there you go.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm going to bring up a website. I use them as a preparation for my for when I do my spreadsheet. Let me show you this.
Okay.
I just type into Google junk silver melt calculator. This what used to be the second best, but then the best one stopped being there. This one came up. I'm not impressed with it, and it tends to not match the numbers here.
You see why. You see who's above the. Anyway, let me know.
Are you talking about this?
Yeah, we'll carry on. You were saying I don't like it, and you're wondering why, because their prices are a little bit more inflated than anybody else.
Well, that might be so, but I just don't think that the thing works right. So if you go over to here, just to find out the price of silver, $92.38. Then I come over to here and put in here that price, because that's probably the melt price.
Yeah.
I put in the spot price, and then you can put into anything that you want. Say, for instance, you want to talk about a silver dime, and there's your price of your silver dime, $6.68. And when I do my spreadsheet, the very first thing I do is I'll come down to the 40-cent Kennedy, and I'll put that in there, because my spreadsheet then divides it into half and gives me the price of a 40% Washington from bicentennial year. And I'll throw all that in there, and I'll take this information, manually put it into my spreadsheet, and it'll let you know what you got going on. It also includes your war nickels. So it has all your 90%. Now, it's a little, what I don't like about this is it starts off with the 1916 Liberties, and you got your barbers before that. So what I typically do is I'll add all the barbers I have in with all the Mercuries, and I'll put them into that spreadsheet. Now with the Roosevelts, I have some some proof ones and some other things in there. So I'll just add that into there. Well, same thing with the Liberty standing. I'll put in the barbers into that because all this is a pretty much generic estimate, and I have some commemorative dollars. I'll add that into the same column as the piece silver dollar. And I don't add in my silver eagles because it's already in the spreadsheet. But if you ever want to know what the price is nowadays, just go into this. You put in one for whatever denomination. It doesn't matter if it's a Mercury or a Roosevelt. Because look here, 6.68. I'll take that one out, and I'll put in for the Roosevelt. It's the same amount.
So
The calculations doesn't consider wear and tear. But it's if you're just trying to get an estimate of what you have, this is a great spreadsheet to go to.
Show them the $50 so we can get the 100 likes, but they're going to win. How much a $50 worth?
Okay, let's do quarter because I did mention quarter first. $16.71. Now let's go to the half.
That's more than some people make an hour.
Yeah, $33.41.
Yeah, that's a win.
Yeah, do you remember when silver 1 ounce pure silver was in the 20s?
Yeah, I remember when it was like $16 and change.
Oh, that was before my time.
Yeah, I started in like 2011.
So that's just ridiculous. If you want to see what a pure silver, you can come down here and just put a 1 in there. And there's your current spot price. That's just, which leads us right into the topic we were going to talk about, which is the rising cost of silver and gold and how it's affecting us. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Let me get over to here. Yeah, I agree with you, Jonathan. Totally crazy. I got in 4.5 years ago, 2021, and plus or minus silver was plus or minus around $20 back then. And I used to listen to everyone complain about how everybody was teasing them that they were wasting their money because silver wasn't going to do anything. Guess who's eating their words now? And as I've mentioned before, Shawn, I've been set back a little bit with the cancer, and a lot of the hospitals don't want to hire a doctor who's getting chemotherapy. So I'm fighting to get a different job. In fact, I was on the computer a lot today trying to line up a totally different type of work, so I can start not living off of my silver. But 5 years ago or more, if I would have got this disease back then, I'd have been losing my house, dude.
Yeah.
And you told a very similar story about your longer distant past when you first started getting into silver. Do you want to tell our audience your story about you getting into it?
Yeah, sure. It basically all started back in 2011. I was I was a server at a restaurant in Annapolis, Maryland, and I had built up a really nice client list. People, I guess, kind of gravitated to me, and they really appreciated the service and the genuality that I guess who I am. And there was an older couple that were both lawyers in the area, in the state of Maryland, and they would always come and request my sections and stuff. And for about 2 years or so, they always would come in. And about after a year or so, he mentioned something about silver and gold and stuff like that. And at that time, I just, never even thought about it. The only time I ever thought about silver and gold was either like in video games or in movies, and just, a thought didn't even inquire in my head. I never thought to even, buy any of it for any reason, right? But these were people that were, in my opinion, were accredited people. They were very successful lawyers. They were very honest to me. And, to me, I felt they were telling me something that I felt that I should listen to, because no one's just going to just tell me I should look into something if they don't feel it's you know, especially if it doesn't benefit them, it's something that you maybe should listen to because maybe they want something good to happen to you. So I took him on his advice and I went to the local coin store here. Went in there. This is when like silver was about around $30 an ounce. You know, it's fluctuated from 40 to 30 down to like 12, and now we're at 94. So it's been a roller coaster along the way. So I've seen highs and lows all the time. Went in there when it was $30 an ounce. Kind of guy came, hey, young fella, how you doing? This older guy was there. I kind of walked in the store. I didn't even know what the heck I was doing. Approached the counter. I was like, hey, friend of mine, such and such. You know, they say they know you. Told me to come in here and buy some silver from you, and it's a good investment. And he took out the little tray of like 1 ounce silver bars that were just like the kind you see in your local coins where the people just pass by. They're just sitting there to kind of like your junk silver, if you will, without being constitutional. Like you buy at spot and stuff. They were just whatever, trying to all toned up. So I was kind of picking through the bars for about 30 minutes, and I kind of found some cool looking ones, and one with the state of Maryland on it, and a couple other ones that had like a buffalo on it and like an eagle on it. So it's like, all right, I think I'm ready to go. And so, what do I owe you, like $90? Like, nah, just give me $60. I said, you know that the price of silver is $30 an ounce, right? He's like, yeah, I know, but just take an ounce of silver on me. I know you'll come back. Just keep coming back once in a while and buy a couple ounces when you can, and just make it a regular habit and just stack away for a rainy day. And at that point, I was like, light bulb went in my head. I'm in. I'm not turning back. And ever since then, when I had some money, I would go in there and buy a little silver when I could, and mostly with silver. That's all at that point I could afford. Back then, even gold was at like, I don't know, $1,600. At that point, I was like, oh, it's kind of a big, at that point, sticker shock to me for someone who didn't make a whole lot of money. So, but silver at $20, I was like, yeah, that's I can do that. That's, you know, a few ounces here and there, a couple of weeks at a time. It's no big deal. So I did that, and then basically been going back to the store for the last basically 14 to 15 years now. I just actually went in there the other day and did a silver to gold transfer, where I actually turned in some silver and gold, and I finally, after 14 years, finally actually timed the market perfectly, where I literally walked in the store when it was hit $94.01, and it was like a 30-minute wait. And I got seen when it was $93.45, and caught literally like the peak of it where it was, to be able to get the maximum amount of money towards the silver to get the gold, and you get maximum cash back for what the difference was. So that worked out pretty good. But so yeah, I've been going to that store ever since. I buy some stuff on a couple online stores along the way. A couple collectible pieces I saw that were like, you know, some people on YouTube show this certain series off. That's pretty cool. I'll buy this. And it was kind of more of like, you know, fun silver. You pay a little extra premium, but whatever. You got a couple extra bucks. You know, you buy it. It's still silver. You know, whatever. You're just gonna hold on to it for a rainy day, like you do the rest of the silver. And then about 8 years or so, basically, you know, got a little bit more extra income in my life, so I was able to start buying little pieces of gold, fractional pieces, little like 1 gram bars, 5 gram bars, and eventually started moving up to like 1 ounces. And now I'm kind of more back into like buying the fractional pieces, because I'm under the impression that, you know, everyone's saying, oh, gold's going to get to 10,000, 40,000, 100,000. And I'm like, well, if it does get to that, great. But do you really think you're going to take that 1 ounce gold coin and go in there and get cash for that? No, they're not. It's going to be unobtainium at that point. The cash is going to be unobtainium, because they're not going to have that much cash to pay you for your large pieces of metals, because everyone's going to be doing it. It's going to be kind of like what we say, kind of like The Wonderful Life. It's going to be like a run on the metals, right? It's going to be like a reverse run, where everyone's going to like, hey, I want to go sell you this 1 ounce gold. They may not even give you even near spot, because
Exactly.
if you think that people are not buying gold at $4,600 an ounce, think the average person is going to start buying it at $10K? No. And at that point, the fractional pieces that everyone was crapping on years ago is what's going to be in play, because at that point, I think most of the places, most your smaller local coin stores are going to put a sign on the door saying, we can't buy anything over 10 ounce silver bars and 1 ounce 1/10 ounce gold, whatever, bars and coins and rounds, because they're not going to have the cash there.
Exactly. When I first started buying, I went into my pawn shop under the advice of a friend of mine, and they taught me a lot. But at the same time, I had a decent amount of disposable income, and I bought $10,000 worth of stuff
Cool.
from American Hartford Gold. And I will
know that.
always tell you, American Hartford Gold and similar companies, don't buy from them. They'll rob you blind. If they have to have a celebrity, they're paying that celebrity, which means you're paying that celebrity.
Absolutely.
When I found out about it about a month later, because the internet being the internet, they started sending me advertisements for a company called Money Metals Exchange. I started looking into them and found out how much American Hartford Gold had really raked me over the coals back then. Have you ever seen the gold Volcambi combi bars?
Oh yeah.
American Hartford Gold charged me $500 approximately more than what I would have gotten from Money Metals Exchange. And I bought, I think, 2 of them back then. Now, granted, I've made that back because of the increased spot price.
Yeah.
But what if it never happened? And I knew that if I would have called them on the phone, all I would have given was pushback. I wouldn't give them a better deal. They wouldn't have given me my money back. It was just a waste of time. I chalked it up to the cost of education. I considered it hard knocks tuition. But I started off with buying small pieces, silver and gold, because even at that time, my mentality was, what if I have to buy small stuff? I'm not a country. I'm a person.
Yeah.
I don't buy, fighter jets. I don't buy, destroyers and aircraft carriers. I buy food, clothing, warmth in the winter, cool air conditioning in the summer. I don't have the rest of the world's population to take care of. I got me and my wife. So I considered that, and I bought small. And then I found Lynette Zhang and Yankee was always buy an ounce, buy an ounce, buy an ounce. And I'm like, yeah, but what happens if Lynette's right and things start shooting the moon and you get a global reset and you get hyperinflation? I'm going to have to still buy small.
Yeah.
And I eventually built myself up to buying 1 ounce gold. Okay, not initially, but I did. But when I bought an ounce or bigger, they were like the Volcambi combi bars. Simply because I wanted to have the ability to buy small, which is one of the reasons I got into goldbacks, because you can't get any smaller than that.
It's about as small as it gets.
Yeah, pretty much. So I went ahead and started doing that. And then, $20-ish silver became $30-ish silver, and then 40 and so forth. And now look where we're at. We're approaching 100.
Yeah.
And by the way, I have a video that's in evolution right now talking about all this. I mean, everybody's talking about it, but I think my approach is something that maybe some people have considered, but a lot of people have not. And I'm not going to give a whole lot of it away because I want you all to get out there and actually watch the video and how not only history is repeating itself, but we as human beings, as American human beings, mostly don't pay attention to the past. Those of us in our stacking community have, that we've learned to pay attention to the past, but it really is, just totally amazing. By the way, I'm getting a little sidetracked. Michael and Long Lived, welcome to the chat. Since you're moderators, can you do me a favor and make sure everybody feels welcome in the chat so I can stay focused on what I'm doing? And Hondo, I agree with you. I like 20-ounce gold francs also. Just a little food for thought. I have like a third of a tube of 20-ounce francs.
Cool.
And I have like a tube and a half of 1/10 ounce rounds, gold rounds. in addition to the silver. And I have a good bit of gold backs. Why? I thought that if Lynette was right, we're going to see hyperinflation just like Venezuela, just like Zimbabwe, just like the Weimar Republic. And we're going to have something that's going to allow us to buy little things like groceries. So back when Lynette was with ITM Trading, she did a piece where she showed a video of a young lady who went into a grocery store in Venezuela, and she had folded up $1 billion bolivar. And she walked in there and they told her that that's no longer good money there anymore, but she wasn't using it as currency. She was using it as an envelope. So she unfolds this what used to be currency, now an envelope, folds it open, a little tiny pebble of gold in there. She drops it on the scale and they let her have her groceries.
Yeah.
That's what we're headed towards. And unless some other things happen, that's where we're going. And it's always been that way. 4,800 currencies have failed in a 6,000 year period of time. But this hasn't failed.
Nope.
This has never failed. This is God's money. And once again, just like what happened in the Weimar Republic, we're starting to see this stuff climb. But it's really not climbing. The currency is failing. And that's why it costs more currency to get this. Just like the Weimar Republic, and just like it's happened in all the other republics. Yeah. So, I don't know about you, Shawn, but once I get back to earning, I'm buying again. How about you?
Yeah, I think I'm just going to, right in the same position, just buy when I can. And if I can't buy, I'm trying to tell myself it's okay. Don't necessarily need to have it. You get it when you have it. You have a decent amount right now. You have more than most people have in America. Trying to be more thankful for what I have instead of wishing, I wish I had this and wishing I had that. That's trying to take the greed out of it at the same time, to be more thankful and be more that I'm blessed at what I have.
Yeah, that brings me to something I want to point out, because like you, like me, we're both Christians, and one of the 10 commandments is thou shalt not envy. Quit complaining about what other people have and you don't. Be grateful, because there's people worse off than what you are.
Well, absolutely. I mean, it goes to the whole, the when it says, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. When I was a child growing up in the faith, I never understood what that meant. Like, what do you mean I don't want God? I don't understand. But when I was, like it says, when I was a child, I thought I was a child and behaved like a child. But when I became adult, acted like an adult and behaved like an adult, thought as an adult, and put away childish things. But I understood what it meant was like, when you have Christ in your life, the want is there's no more need for want. Right? He's enough. He's sufficient. His love is sufficient. Basically, what it kind of comes down to. Everything else is a free will and a blessing from him, or a trial from him, test of our faith.
Exactly.
So there's that. Like you said, kind of going back to what you said as far as with the metals and stuff and the price, things costing more. Kind of like I've always told people, it's like, it's not that things cost more. It's that the fact that the value, you said, the value of the dollar is going down. So it's taking more of your dollars to make up basically for the same products that you're basically buying. Which is why we buy gold and silver, because most of the time it hedges against inflation. And when the dollar drops, the gold and silver keep going up and to the right. So there's that too. So, but anyway,
that's true.
Faith is important and stuff too. And with all this, I think it's the number one thing in my life. It may not be for everybody, but Everything else, like I said, it's a free roll. I'll buy it when I can. I sell when I need to. I sold the other day. I needed a few bucks for some stuff. I'm just more happy that I had it and happy that the price is where it's at now. I'm kind of getting more bucks for my return. I was at the coin store. I met a guy named Herb. If he's watching, cool. He probably will never watch, but just know that I was praying for him because he kind of came in and sold a large amount of silver. When he put the box down on the counter, it made a big thud. Let's just say that it was probably around it was a lot. Anyway, we got to chat, and it's very unusual that people talk to one another in a coin store. But I'm a very kind of open, kind of chatty guy where people kind of feel comfortable talking to me in that kind of environment. Instead of like, oh, go away, I don't want to talk to you. It's my silver and gold. Don't touch it. So he was telling me his story about how he made a $5,000 investment years ago. And he sold the silver basically to help pay for the medical bed he needed for his wife. And this is a very older gentleman, so you can only imagine his wife was probably the same age as well, and was probably in very, at that age condition where she needs a medical bed now instead of a regular bed. And he said basically he was only $800 short from the very 5 figures it cost him to buy that bed. So he said even though I hate to have to sell this.
Are you there? Looks like you're froze on me.
Hit me kind of hard and stuff, and I told him.
Shawn, are you there? Because you look like you're froze. Shawn?
He was very fortunate. It keeps cutting me in and out. Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Am I back? Sorry about that. I was telling a story. I'll make the story quick. So anyway, gentleman I met at the coin store made a decent investment, needed some money for his wife's medical bed. He was sad to see it go, but he was happy that he made the investment. And I told him, hey, man, I'm sorry that you're in this situation. I pray that you be able to make up for the rest of the money you need to help pay for this medical bed. And if anything, if it's any kind of consolation, just be happy that you're literally part of less than 2% of all Americans who even had the mindset to save this type of stuff for a rainy day, which you're having today. And I'm hoping that things obviously get better for you. So that really kind of hit me hard as far as in the heart, because it's like you said, if you had cancer years ago and you didn't have any of these precious metals, you would have lost your house, you might have lost your life. So to me, it really not only did it hit my heart, but it emphasized why we do this. It was like, even though I've had personal experience selling and buying, why I need to sell for bills, you said the same thing. But to have another person you didn't know, you just kind of meet in life who has a similar situation, and it makes it really real that he had that precious metals there available in order to get him out of his bad situation. It made me think about how many people that didn't do what he did and are really in a bad situation now. This is part of the reason why I tell people, this is not a hobby. This is important that people do this, because it gives people power back. Power, instead of having to, I told him, could you imagine having to go to the bank and ask for a $15,000 loan? Oh, sorry, sir, your credit score here says that it's not good enough, and we don't know you from Jack and Jill. You never shopped here before, and your bank account balance is not efficient. Sorry, I'll give you $1. Then he's screwed. So
yeah, I was in those shoes. Oh, when did I move here? Let me think. I moved here around 2010, between 2010, maybe 2009, and I had been a few years out of a divorce. My ex-wife had destroyed me financially.
Sorry to hear that, dude.
That's okay. She took advantage in a lot of ways, and I was left with 47 cents in the bank account and about a little more than $500,000 in debt, and worked like a dog. Now, I always was a hard worker, but never was really a smart worker. I never learned how to work smart. So anyway, it took me a long time. And when I came to Charleston, I had a decent job and I was working at trying to rebuild.
Mhm.
I had a bank up in Pennsylvania that I'd been with for a few years who knew my income potential. And the banks down here in Charleston wouldn't give me any consideration. My my credit scores were crummy, to say it kindly. Um, the bank up in Pennsylvania gave me a little bit of a line of credit. They gave me a loan against a car that I already owned. I put the money into a banking account, a savings account that they took out every month to make it, let the numbers start to show.
Mhm.
And then I found a company eventually called National Credit Care, where you pay them so much a month, and then they challenge the three agencies, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, legally. And if they can't have a complete file, that ticket against your credit score goes away by law.
Gone. Yep.
And just keep on doing it, keep on doing it, keep on doing it. And the only reason that these companies are making money is, let's say someone said I owed them money. They paid one or all three of these organizations, and it was a one-time payment to enter my name into the system as a bad person, so to say. But these organizations have to keep their lights on and keep employees to do the different duties. Well, this company would call them, send them letters every month, even after they cleared it. They would keep on sending it to them because legally, even after they cleared it, if you get another request, you have to do it again.
Yeah.
Eventually, they were losing money by having people go in and clear it every time the request came through. They would just take it off the books.
Yeah.
And that's the only way you clear it, because when you pay off your credit,
There.
believe it or not, your score goes down.
Yeah.
So I had built my credit from the 400s to the 700s.
Good for you, buddy.
What's that?
Good for you, buddy.
Well, I had to learn the hard way. I thought if you paid stuff off, it would come off your score. No, you pay off a car early, your score goes down.
Yeah, you want to, yeah, because it's weird because the credit score basically gets a way of telling the banks basically this person's able to get money out of this person.
Yeah. So basically, the reason I bring that up is because I want people to realize that, you brought up the hypothetical lender against the lendee who says, well, your score is crappy. I was in that position.
Yeah.
Little side note, years later, after I had obtained the house that I live in now, one of the banks that turned me down cold, hard turkey sends me a letter saying, hey, we'd love to be your lender. And I'm like, I shot them off a nastygram, told them basically I wasn't good enough for you then. You're not good enough for me now. And it was I was very explicit, professional, but very sharp-tongued. And I sent a copy to my bank up in Pennsylvania that gave me the chance to build it. And said, now my bank in Pennsylvania, they're nice, and I'm never going to leave them. And my bank called me and says, I really wish you wouldn't have done that. So why? Says, they're going to be mad at us. Why do you care? You gave me a chance when no one else would, and you have no legal ties to them. They can be mad all they want. They gave a good man no chance. So Shawn's right. This makes you your own bank. This is your savings. This is your backup when things hit the fan. And Shawn's lived it, and I've lived it, where you save, and you're maintaining your purchasing power, because this stuff isn't losing its value in the purchasing context. So, Shawn, it looks like you froze on me again.
Yeah, it's 'cause I'm back here in this old wooded area here, and the signal's kind of crappy, so I apologize.
Well, we're looking into getting into Starlink. The company that provides us is a company used to be called Suddenlink. They changed their name to Optimum. Let me tell you, there's no optimum to them. We have so many outages, and I'm hoping to get Starlink set up pretty soon. You might want to check into that if you don't already have it.
Yeah, there's that Verizon outage too they had recently on stuff. I told everybody, yeah, they're just getting ready for the big one. But yeah, signal sucks. Sucks that you have to rely on an invisible stream in order to get this stuff set up. But that's what we have to deal with.
True.
It's all good.
It's okay. Eventually it gets worked out in the end.
Yeah, always does.
But it's something I made mention in one of the videos. It's in evolution. Do the best you can. And if you can't do any better, then you're doing the best you can. And God will step in and help when you desperately need it.
Absolutely. 100%.
Let's see here. If anybody in the chat wants to throw out a question or something,
Sure.
I have not been watching the chat, which is why I've been asking the moderators to moderate. And I got some really good moderators, even Long Live Coins, but don't tell them I said that. So
he's a good dude. I still need to go buy one of those SPB osmium pieces. I told him I'd still wait. That's kind of been a back burner thing. It's no offense to him. It's just I still plan to get one of those. It'd be cool to kind of put one of those on, like if I ever do like a thing like you do where it just has a bunch of coins set up everywhere to have a little, SPB, and that'd be kind of pretty dope and osmium. So yeah,
that's where I'm going to go as soon as I get myself back into a situation, because what I really want is to get my wife an osmium necklace to match her osmium earrings.
Nice.
I don't really consider it part of my stack. Maybe in the future, but for me, it's mostly I'm stacking wifely love. Because the girls are. They get something that's sparkly. They're like, ooh.
What else you got?
Yeah. Barbara, I'm not Tigger. That's my cousin. And I got an ongoing war with Tigger. He will not teach me how to bounce on my tail. He says it's got a proprietary copyright from Disney. So I don't talk to Tigger anymore. So anyway, joking aside, I am still fighting cancer, but I'm going to fight until I win.
Full-on civil war with Tigger, right? Yeah.
Well, do you have any idea how many times I changed that boy's diapers when he was just a cub? And now he will not teach me how to bounce on my tail.
Yeah, that guy was pretty special.
But no, Barbara, I'm still fighting cancer. On the 7th, I had a mastectomy on the side that has the mass, which is the left. And I am totally sick and tired. Totally sick and tired of breast this and breast that. So I told him to take the right side too, because with what I've dealt with, my fear is that maybe I'll kick it on the left, but it'll come back on the right. So if there's nothing left over there on the right, then I have a better chance that I'm going to be done with this. On Tuesday, I had my first drain on the right side removed. I'm still running around with the left drain. The surgeon won't let me ride my bicycle, dude. he wants me staying off of that until the scars are better and the drains are out. You know, what a mean dude.
Yeah, he don't want you on that bike, and all of a sudden, all your blood flow's going, and then that left or right drain just shoots out your body, and then you're like, oh well, that's it. Joe Biden crashed, and then you're done. So,
Well,
yeah.
no, actually, it's on what you call a Jackson Pratt drainage. The end of the tube goes into a bulb that looks like a hand grenade. And you squeeze the sucker to get all the air out. Then you plug up the hole so the air doesn't come back in. And the bulb tries to expand, creating negative pressure, and drains out the fluid out of you. Barbara, your husband beat stage 4 cancer. Wonderful, Barbara.
Heck yeah. That's a win.
Kudos for Barbara's husband.
Yes, absolutely.
So no, I'm tickled to death. What type of cancer did he have, Barbara? Let's see what she says. But no, that's a big thing. So how many of you in the chat, while she's getting ready to send us an answer, how many of you in the chat are going to be buying at 92, 93, 90, whatever dollars an ounce? Let me go find it again.
Like 92.88, something like that.
Get this, a 50 gold to silver ratio.
Yeah, so I figured we were going to be right there. And I think I did my conversion when it literally hit like I did the math right there on my calculator. I walked in when it hit 94. I was like, wait a minute, let me see where we're at. I'm pretty sure we're like square on like 50 to 1. And sure enough, it was like 50.0825. It was like, oh my God, we're like fractions away from 50 to 1. So
yeah, you did good.
Conversion right there at 50 to 1 because I feel it's going to slide right back. I have my ideas what I think it's going to do, but again, I have no crystal ball. I don't have the cube to look. I'm not part of Project Looking Glass. I don't have the ability to see the future, but I have my ideas what I think is going to happen. Again, if it happens, it'd be pretty wild, but we shall see.
91 and a half. Gold is 46.13. Platinum is a little shy of 2,400.
Look at that rise though, and look at the time underneath. It's crazy.
Yeah, it really shot the moon.
Yeah,
right in this time frame, it shot the moon. When was that? December, to late December.
Right before the winter solstice. Yeah.
And let's see here. Palladium pretty much did the same thing. Had a major pullback.
And we pull up silver too. It's almost kind of like a similar chart almost too.
Yeah, right here's where the pullback was in palladium.
It has a higher second one there, but it has the same first bump. But the silver, because the price of silver itself is, like you said, more obtainium for the average person to purchase. Like, because no one has the average person doesn't have like $2,000 just to go throw at something that they anyway.
There's a lot of truth to that. A lot of truth to that. So if you're gonna still buy silver, put buy in the chat. If you're selling, put sell, and if you're holding, put hold. Let's see what everyone here says that they're going to be doing.
Yeah, I'm curious the ratio of everybody. And if you're selling, it's okay. Obviously you're selling for a reason. If you need the cash, cool. If you wanted diverse funds to other products around the house, or you always wanted to go buy this for myself. Hey, shoot, an ounce of silver right now buys you a wonderful steak dinner at a fancy steakhouse, where before it would buy you a steak at like TGI Fridays. There's
some truth with that. Hey, Steve. It's the same thing. I mean, yesterday I was kind of really super bummed out because I'm trying to beat cancer and recover from the surgery and recover from the chemo, and I want to get back to work. In fact, I spent a large portion of today being on the computer to try to get this virtual home visiting job for Medicare so that I can at least have somewhat of an income back again and do it at home. Um, you can do it by driving out to people's houses, but I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
With the chemo, I could be immunocompromised, run into someone who has the flu, and there you go.
That's it.
And the other part of it is finding houses here in West Virginia is really hard.
Yeah, when I went up there, I was surprised that you guys clearly have a lot of space between your neighbors. It's not like here in a lot of the suburban areas where it's like every 60 feet or 30 feet is a house, basically, just on top of one another. So,
Well, yeah, not only that, but you got the terrain. There have been houses I've had to climb 100 plus steps.
A lot of mountains.
Right up the side of homemade steps. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, a lot of times when it snows, your car's not going up those hills. You're going to slide right back down.
Well, I was at this one years ago. It was, these steps were in varied degrees of repair. And then I got up to the top, and there was like 3 itty bitty little puppies and 2 itty bitty little kitties. And they all wanted to run around my feet while I was carrying a box of medical equipment to do my job. And I'm like, oh my goodness, if one of these animals makes me trip, it's going to be straight down the side of this really steep mountain. So West Virginians live in such weird situations. I've been on the sides of mountains where they say it's a road, but it really isn't. It's a glorified goat trail where you got a half an inch between your door and the mountain on one side and your door and the side of the cliff on the other. And you know that vehicles have driven over it because you see the crushed grass.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that, and then you meet people who, West Virginians are some of the nicest people in the world, but they don't trust very easily. And they'll meet you at the door with a gun,
Yeah, well, it's because when you live by yourself or you live secluded, it's kind of it wears on the brain where it kind of it's like you put an animal in seclusion, it's going to act the same way. It's going to act timid to anything that goes around it because it's just I don't know. But they're good people. I hang out a lot of times in Berkeley Springs. It does have there is a hill where it's paved, but it's got like a guardrail, but you got to like pump the brakes the entire way going down because if you build up speed and you go off to mid-turn, you're going down like a 1,000-foot hill into the river, and it's curtains for everybody in that car. So
you betcha.
Yeah, I know about that type of stuff. But West Virginians, they're good people. They get bad raps and stuff. Oh, they're hillbillies or hicks or they're highfalutin or whatever it is. I mean,
I'll take a hillbilly any day of the week.
They're good people, man. Yeah, there might be. But you get weird people anywhere. You get weird people in the suburbs, the cities, the private neighborhoods. It's human behavior. It's the human factor. Not everybody's the same. Everyone has different mentalities. Some people, like you said, might meet at the door with a handshake. Some people might meet at the door with a shotgun or their dog. They're different people. It depends where you go, but for the most part, West Virginia, to me, they're great people. They're very, it's very easy living there. It's not where like you have to like hustle and bustle and feel you have to chase the Joneses like you do in a lot of like the coastal regions of the countries like the West Coast and the East Coast. It's a place you can kind of go. The air is clean. The sky is bright at night. Sky is clear at night. You see a lot of stars. It's a good place to kind of get away. Really beautiful scenery in the fall, especially little trees turning colors on the mountainside. It's really cool. So it's a good place.
Oh yeah, I totally agree with you. There are some crazies here. I mean, I've had some people that really, freaked me out. One guy wanted to get into a fist fight because I misunderstood his directions of which house out in the prairie lands was the person I was looking for because it was not a clear situation and certainly not a clear way to find them. And I had another guy who tried to open up my door to start a fist fight. He was like 20 years my senior, and I was clearly there to see his significant other to do a Medicare audit. And he wanted to get into a fist fight because he was looking at me and says, "I'm the only man she needs." I'm like, dude, I don't care about your woman as a woman. I care about doing my job and getting my paycheck. So, I mean, but outside of those weird situations, I'll take a hillbilly any day. They're some of the nicest, kindest people once you win their trust.
Oh yeah, they're good, honest people. They'll love you to the day you die.
Exactly.
Invite you over for dinner and stuff, or go out and hang out, whatever. Go
Yeah.
camping,
Oh yeah.
whatever.
And just be careful about the moonshine they make because they might not be making it so safely.
Yeah, I don't drink really alcohol anymore, so I'm okay with that.
Well, I'm
Yeah,
a lightweight.
I don't do any high test alcohol anymore. I think those days are long behind me.
Yeah, I don't drink that much. I'm a lightweight. I'm more of a kombucha lover.
There you go.
Now, that's kind of fun because it does have a little tiny amount of alcohol in it, but it's
A
nothing
little
that's
bit.
going to affect you.
Yeah.
Because it's mainly made from a thing called a SCOBY, which is a kind of a fungus, and it takes tea and sugar and ferments it and makes it pretty healthy for you. So I've seen a bunch of buys in our chat. I've not seen a whole lot of sells. I've seen Nancy and Michael Stacking say they would trade. Um,
I like that.
yeah,
I did that earlier yesterday.
I've toyed with the idea of doing it just for fun and seeing if I can get a video out of
It
Chevelle.
it's fun, especially if you have like if that lady Chevelle is offering you a better like return on the spot price versus what you're able to trade it, it's worth it. And I even found out actually in the state of Maryland, I found out when they get rid of the tax law that if you trade metals for other metals, actually there's no tax involved. Which I was like, okay, I'm going to save like $35 on taxes alone. That's a thumbs up. So
Well, I'm not
okay
sure.
with
I'm
that.
not sure Chevelle would do that. I'm sure that she would buy it at whatever rate she buys at and sell whatever rate she sells at, which
Mm-hmm.
would change the gold to silver ratio from what the spot prices are to what the retail exchange is.
Yeah, it's not going to probably be a true 5-to-1, but if you offer like 5.5 or even like 6-to-1, that's still awesome. We were
Yeah.
100-to-1, a couple months ago. So that's 10-to-1, 10 ounces for a 10th ounce coin. So and if you just
Yeah.
took like 6 ounces of silver and be like, look, give me a 10th ounce gold coin. I mean, to
Yeah.
me, it's like, well, you're losing a little bit of money. What if silver goes up and whatnot? Yeah, that's all that what ifs and stuff. But again, we all know that. Well, most of us know that silver is very volatile. I can't say it's going to happen, but who's to say that people it hits that $100 mark? They're like, you know what? Like I told Surfer before, that sweet mark, those even numbers at the market loss. We hit $100, math off, and it drops to like $70. So that'll never happen. People like, well, you can't predict markets, and if anything, it's I don't know if silver is just as volatile as Bitcoin, but when Bitcoin got to $125,000, it got to that nice sweet spot number. Okay, sell the crypto, and it dropped all the way to like $80,000, and it lost
Oh
like
yeah.
what, like 30% like that. So, but that's back to like 90 and change. But I'm just thinking like that could easily happen to silver too because of the volatility of it. Whereas the gold itself is not going to fluctuate as much. Yeah, it's going to probably go down with silver, but it's not going to go down as sharply. And like
Mm-hmm.
you saw it there, 50.3, whatever, where it was 50.0, that could just keep going back up till like slowly 50, 51, 52,
Mm-hmm.
55, 60, and eventually find some new number till it goes back down again. So to me, I like gold because it's more of it's a tier one asset. Silver's not. Gold is it's been around since Christ walked the earth, whether you believe in him or not. It was given to him as a birthday present when he was born. All kingdoms of the world have all had gold and silver in their vaults, no matter what their currency was called at the point or whatever it was, and they're all the
Mm-hmm.
different currency resets. Every single one of those kingdoms all had gold and silver. Every single one, all around the
Yeah.
world. So
In fact, Shavella has, last time I was there, she had a St. Gaudens on in her display case. It's been there for a
Nice.
while, obviously, because gold is more pricey now.
Yeah.
How much more pricey? Look at what this cost me November 2022.
I can't see that. What does it say? It's 1800.
Almost $1,900.
Winning. Big win. Tiger blood winning.
And I love pre-33 for a lot of reasons.
I do too.
What was around when my grandfather was around. I loved my grandfather. But when you look at the prices of the pre-33, they're basically the same price as bullion. And how do you check that? Barbara, I'll answer your question here in a second. What I do, I don't worry that much about the premium percentage. I mean, sometimes I do, sometimes I'll do that math. But if I really want to compare bullion to pre-33, it's a simple mathematical equation. You take the dollar amount, you divide it by the actual weight of what you're buying. Now, if it's a 1 ounce round, you don't have to do it because it's already there. It's clear as the bell. Here, this thing is 0.9675 or 76 troy ounces. So you take your dollars, divide it by that fraction, and it mathematically converts it into what it would cost if this was a 1 ounce piece of bullion. Then you can compare that price to your gold eagles and your gold buffaloes and your gold maples, and you've got an idea which one's going to cost you less. Right nowadays, this is costing as much or less than bullion.
Yep.
And when things change again and get reset, these are going to hold their value a little bit more. Just because they're older and they're not being minted anymore, they're going to hold their value. So if I wanted to lose a good bit, what would I be losing? I'd be losing 50 ounces of silver approximately if there was no retail loss of finances. I could get myself another St. Gaudens.
Mm-hmm.
And Chevelle is the best deals in town, but I'm sure that she's going to want to be able to get a little bit out of it to keep the lights on, which I can't blame her.
Here's a way you can figure out, and if you have that kind of relationship, because a lot of people, especially in the local coin stores, if you don't have a certain relationship built up over time, then most people don't feel comfortable asking for certain, if you will, favors, if you will, right?
Mm-hmm.
And when I mean favors, where it's like it favors both sides. Most of the time, it's usually one person wanting the deal, and the other person's like, well, "What about me?" Right?
Yeah.
So if you go in there and be able to actually have an open conversation, like Lady Chevelle, like, what exactly are you looking to get for this coin? Like, what is your bottom dollar? And then if you have the 50 ounces of silver, like, what do you plan to sell this silver for? $2 over spot, $3 over spot.
Yeah.
You say, okay, well, let's just for easy conversation, let's just say spot's at $100, right? You take 50 ounces of silver, and you're like, okay, that's $5,000 there, and I plan to sell it for $2 more over spot, right? So she's going to get an extra $200 or whatever it is, that $300 out of it. You come to a nice deal where basically you're like, well, look, you're going to sell this stuff for this. This is going to net you this much money, and find a way where the net money that she sells from the silver is close to or just a little bit more than what the coin that she's asking for, right? Because she's probably got a little bit of room. So at that point, you're telling her, look, you're making your premium on your gold, right? Clearly, you didn't buy this gold for what you're selling it for. So by trading this metal in and getting this much towards the value of what you're selling it for, maybe a little bit more, now you're able to make the money you made on the coin automatically. You've already made your coin in the form of, when you sell this silver, you're going to make more than you would if you would have sold this coin by itself.
Yeah.
That's the way you can kind of find a way where, like, if she makes the coins out of her possession, she has 200 ounces of silver, which would be easier to sell than it would be that 1 ounce coin. But I'm sorry, that 1 ounce St. Gallen, it's a lot easier to sell 50 ounces of silver to a few people than it would be that one coin to one person.
Yeah.
You tell her, look, you're going to make $200 on the silver alone, plus you just made your premium for the St. Gallen. So let's just door number 2, make a deal. Come on, hit the button. Open the case, yes, deal, and hit the Howie button, and banker's like, yeah, I'll make a phone call and here's a coin. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I will tell you that, she's given me better deals than a lot of people. I've seen people come in because I'll go in and hopefully talk her into a video. And she's frequently told me she'll do a video with me and then at the last minute pull out saying she's too busy. And that was before the price of silver skyrocketed. So, but now I'll be sitting there watching, her talk to someone about the price of silver, buying and selling. And she'll give me a little bit better deal than those people she was talking to, because I've been there.
Yep.
Basic, the lion's share, 4.5 years.
That's how my LCS did to me. Pretty much, they were offering to pay a higher bid on my silver than anybody else because I was able to ask, hey, Nick, it's a cool Eagles price. You're buying this at $89.05. Can I get this price with these? And he was like, he literally just looked at the woman and was like, yeah, for Shawn, we'll do that. Because I've been there for 14, 15 years. For anybody else, he's like, nah, you're going to get this, and it's $2 less. So
yeah,
the relation. So it literally pays to have a relationship with your local coin store, because it literally puts money back in your pocket, because
exactly,
to them, you're not just another person making dollar. You're like a local buddy, you're local friends. Like the guys, like even like people who go to the bar and see the same guy for 3 years, you end up having conversations. Hey, buddy, good to see you again. You get to end up knowing each other's lives and stuff. You share stories. You get emotionally invested in the person's life and caring about actually what happened to them, not just like, let me get your money and have a nice day. I'll see you next time. So
and sometimes I'll get a text message or a phone call from Shavella simply because she wants to make sure I'm okay, because her significant other ended up dying of cancer.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yes, I never met her significant other, but I'm told that their relationship was like beyond awesome. So when I told Shavella I had breast cancer, our relationship got even closer because we have a similar bond. And then sometimes I've walked into her place and I just kicked in the pants from that chemo, and just, stayed for a little while and then went home. Since I'm on this topic, Barbara Rarios, I don't know if I'm saying that right. She asked me if I'm taking ivermectin. In fact, Shawn and I, prior to the live stream, we were talking about alternative medicines. There's not a lot of literature out there about ivermectin, and the one I hear a lot more about is fenbendazole, which is an anti-tapeworm medicine. A lot of people have claimed that there are cancers of multiple different types. There's hundreds and hundreds of types of cancers and hundreds of subtypes of cancers where they're claiming to be cured of cancer from ivermectin, from fenbendazole. I've done a little bit of research on this. There's not a lot of medical literature out there, and I've talked to my oncologist and my surgeon, and I have a friend of mine who no longer is a doctor anymore. Well, he's a doctor, but he's no longer practicing anymore.
Retired,
yeah, dude, he's younger than me and he's retired. He started off as a family doctor, then became a radiation oncologist. Now that's where the money is.
Yeah.
And he started investing his money in real estate way back in the day, and eventually just got out of medicine, got out of the crappy politics that exists in medicine, and he's doing just fine. In fact, he sold me my very first airplane for the price of a car,
Nice.
$35,000.
That's
Nowadays,
pretty,
they're a lot more.
yeah.
And basically, uh, he buys and sells personal airplanes that are like 1.5 million. I can't even afford to polish that thing. So, but he and I talked about it, about my cancer, my staging, where it's at, and all that. And he told me the same thing that I've been finding out in the medical literature. There's no substantiation for this. No, some people would say that it's because big pharma wants to make money on it, that type of thing. Okay, there can be some truth to that. I mean, they're not doing it for simply because they have all the God-like Christianity in the world. They're doing it to make a living, and a lot of a living. But when you look at it, when you look at medical malpractice cases that happen because things have failed, they don't want to lose money. Uh, um, I've heard that, Barbara, about being parasitic. I've not yet seen any medical literature that proves it. The other thing I want to point out about things like ivermectin and fenbendazole is they use, especially fenbendazole, a lot on dogs. How do I know that? My wife's a dog trainer and breeder. We have frequently treated tapeworms and other worms with fenbendazole. Works like a charm. And when the dogs are getting it, we get it also, just to make sure it's not going to keep going around the house. There is a huge increase in the amount of cancer in dogs. Now, granted, a lot of it seems to be food related, but a lot of our cancer seems to be food related. So if fenbendazole is a great anti-cancer agent, why are we losing so many dogs to all sorts of cancer? There's not enough evidence to prove it. Now, in my situation, I'm technically stage 4, but I'm a weird stage 4. If I didn't have what I'm going to tell you I have, I would be stage 2. I have a mass I had until the surgery, a mass in my left chest and one lymph node, which at the surgery, they found a second one. So I didn't have a whole lot of lymph nodes. So that would have made me stage 2.
Yeah.
But PET CT scan, MRI with gadolinium dye, and biopsy has confirmed I've got a 3-centimeter spot in my right hip. And I'm going to be going into radiation therapy. I've had 6 rounds of chemotherapy with immunotherapy at the same time. Last one was December 1st. I've had surgery on January 7th. I'm going to go in for every 3 weeks of immunotherapy without chemotherapy, plus radiation therapy in the right hip and the left armpit. So I'm kind of a weird stage 4. My chances at this stage 4 are pretty good compared to a stage 4 that was everywhere. Then I'd kind of be, for lack of a better word, toast. And if I was toast, I would go full force fenbendazole, ivermectin, plus all the chemo and immunotherapy, because I would feel my back's to the wall. But I don't think that there's a strong enough evidence. And I have a friend of mine who's got another type of cancer, and she wants no chemotherapy, no traditional medicine. She goes over to Arizona and gets starved to death because cancer likes sugar.
Yeah, she's
But
fasting in the way.
she also is getting hyperbaric oxygen, which you would normally get like if you had the bends from from scuba diving, you came up too fast. So, because cancer doesn't like oxygen that much. But you can use the argument that Big Pharma is making a lot of money, but she's getting non-traditional medical treatment that she's paying for out of pocket. Okay. So Big Pharma is not making that big money, but these other companies that are doing these alternative medicines are making big money out of her pocket. So where's the catch? You're getting caught one way, you're getting caught the other. So at stage 4, with it being at stage 4, that's really weird. I'm kind of sticking with traditional medicine with the idea that maybe when I'm doing immunotherapy, I might go ahead and try the fenbendazole. We have a bunch of it here for the dogs. Maybe I'll go ahead and do ivermectin. My dear friend Lynette Zhang sent me moringa, which is kind of like a plant that you can turn into tea. I drink the tea.
That's important.
I drink the tea. It's a little weird tasting.
It's very weird, but it's supposed to be one of the I don't want to say hidden cures, but it's the stuff that people they should know more about it. I'll just say that. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, and I've seen where turmeric is supposed to be anti-cancer.
Yep, it's one of the three big things.
I've read articles where turmeric will interfere with chemotherapy. So you have to. And there's no strong scientific evidence that says that these alternate medicines are actually going to work.
I told you why. I told you on the phone why I believe that is.
Yeah, the Big Pharma idea.
Yeah, the Big Pharma idea, and it's all basically it goes back into the whole discussion I had with somebody at a poker night Saturday about science and stuff. About the whole they were saying trust the science, and I'm like, well. From what I remember, what science was supposed to be about was supposed to be about constantly questioning things and not saying you have all the answers, and constantly trying to see if there's a better way to do something. Mm-hmm. So when basically you're saying that the people say, oh, this is the way to do it, and this is not in textbooks and stuff, or it's trust the science. It's like, well, really, you're telling me that if it's not in a textbook somewhere, it's not science. Well, to me, that's academia.
Well, it's not. You got to keep in mind you can't go with textbooks, because by the time a textbook is written, edited,
it's outdated.
It's out of date. You have to go with journals.
Yeah, I mean, journals and more of just whatever the common rhetoric or common information that is being used in the medical community. It's all basically, in my opinion, academia. It's basically a bunch of people with certain accredited awards or whatever, I went to this college, they went to this college, I got this degree, whatever, have all come together and basically say this is what it is. And anything that questions this is basically it's questioning the science. It's basically now what you're doing is academia, and by shutting people down and saying things that when they were saying, oh, Joe Rogan was saying this during COVID, oh, we got to shut this down. These doctors saying this during COVID, we got to shut this down. It's like, wait a minute. It's we're not really trusting the science. You're telling to trust the academia. And in my opinion, the academia is a way that the pharmaceutical companies are making trillions of dollars every year.
Well,
basically keeping people with medicines, not keeping anybody with cure.
There might be some truth with that, but you got to keep in mind that you were talking about thousands upon thousands upon thousands of healthcare professionals. Yeah. And you have all these tissue samples that are coming in annually from multiple different cancers. And none of these reports, none of them, 0% to my knowledge, has ever come out showing, hey, there's a parasite here. They talk about the cell types and all that. And with the electron microscopes that's there, the different dyes that exist, nothing. There's been 100% shutdown of a potential truth. I mean, one thing I've learned in my years is no matter what happens, eventually the truth always finds its way out. It's like water,
Yeah.
it always finds its way out. And in all this period of time, they're saying, you know, all these cancers are from a parasite. They're saying type 2 diabetes is from a blue parasite. None of these pathology reports in all these decades has ever shown a parasite which is not super microscopic. You know, they're an organism. They're a multi-celled organism. You know, or at least a one-celled organism, and none of these reports have ever presented this information, and decades of pathology reports and independent research studies. Do you realize the amount of energy and threatening and money that would have to change hands to keep that secret for decades?
Where you got people say the same thing when I talk about the NFL and all these sports stuff being rigged, but it's like people who work for the federal government, they have that C behind their name. They risk going to jail or in prison for the rest of their life, or basically being hung for treason if you basically were to share secrets with whatever you know when you work in a classified setting. So to me, it's like, you know, there's people making clearly way more money in sports arenas and in the medical field than they are making for working for the federal government.
Yeah, well,
I would think that, like, you know,
monetarily wise, you're probably 100% accurate. But I'm
so
just saying that, you know, there isn't one person
that's
that
not.
knows the truth that isn't going to oppose the man. How many people out in the world have opposed the man over decades? A lot.
And they get taken out when they do.
Yeah, but that usually brings out, you know, you snuff out someone,
Not always.
other people getting taken down for
I mean,
whatever.
to some people, but you know, I hate to speak bad about all of society, but we're fickle people, man. We're 15-second attention span. You put something else on the TV, that's going to consume your thought. You're not going to think about it anymore. You know, it's like when the shooting happened in Buffalo, New York, and they shot all those people and they killed that security guy, basically, who made the water power car. And people started figuring out about that. They had the Uvalde shooting.
Well,
You know,
I'm more
later,
willing to
and
believe
everybody didn't even think about the Buffalo shooting. They don't even remember it even happening anymore. But because people were starting to figure out truth, they just break. Now there's something to distract you. There's some celebrity getting slapped, some sports team winning this win, some new show. We're easily distracted, and most of us, if it really boils down to it, most of us are selfish, and if it doesn't really apply to us or it really affects our financial means or even our way of interacting with the world, they don't even care. They don't even care. It's like people who don't even care about gold and silver. They've seen, I don't care, whatever, I'll go buy it.
well, I will give you some validity on that with the American populace. You know, but you know, to different countries, whether they're first world, second world, third world, different countries, different political structures, different ideologies, and no one is coming forward. I'm willing to believe that most cancer in our country is, or in the world, is food related, especially here.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Now that one I can put a lot of faith in. And if you look at the change of what happened over the years, you know, when processed food was being pushed and the dietary pyramid was being pushed,
that's where it's at.
You know,
the processed food. That's where it comes from.
I believe that that's the biggest source of cancer, processed whatever, which, by the way, also includes tobacco. It's all processed. Now, another thing Barbara says both medicines together are amazing. Barbara, would you please, honey, please put in there what both medicines you were referring to, because I didn't quite pick that up. Oh, looks like Michael and Nancy are going to bed. Good night, Michael and Nancy.
I tell you what, man, that is, if they're still here, that is the sweetest couple on YouTube that I freaking know. Not
Oh,
to
they are.
discredit you, not to discredit you, Tiger, and your wife, but Michael and Nancy, literally after discovering them a couple months ago, when I get a chance to watch them, they are hardcore, man. They stream every freaking night that I can. I don't think they've ever missed a night. They are literally the sweetest couple. They have it's just a really cool time hanging out with
They
them.
are.
He's got a lot of beautiful coins, and Michael and Nancy, I just wanted to say thank you guys for being part of this community. You guys are totally
Yeah.
awesome in my book.
You know, I wish I lived next door to these two. I'd go over there and sit on their back porch and drink
Oh
hot
yeah,
cocoa with them every night.
I'm not sure what state they live in, but yeah, it would be super awesome to go out there with a iced tea and sit on the porch and just kind of chat away, man. Heck yeah.
They live in Ohio. I'm not sure how far from Charleston, but they live in Ohio.
Probably about 6 hours from you and about probably 8 hours from me.
Okay, so we're going to raid their cupboard and drink all their cocoa.
She might Nancy might not like that. She might drop kick both of us actually at the front door.
Let me look here. So I'm going to refresh my screen because last time I looked, I was at 40 something.
Okay, we're almost there. Heck yeah.
We're at 40. So
that's $1 at least, and 10 away from $2. So people get your thumbs out and put them on the screen. Turn that gray thumb, empty thumb into a blue thumb.
And what it does is it does help the YouTube algorithm. I will tell you that during this live stream, I've had a wonderful small milestone. I have broken 3,000 subscribers.
Nice.
3,006 subscribers. Thanks to all of you.
Dude, that's awesome. That's freaky, yeah, man. You got there. I think I just got a 1 sub the other day. I'm at 207, so I'm almost there at monetization for 500. So I think I need like 293. So anybody willing to hop over and help?
Yeah, go on over to him.
I appreciate that. I'm trying to get there. My goal is to hopefully get there by like, I want to say by springtime. So that's like March 21st. So I'm giving myself about 2 months to get 290. So I figured about 100 some a month. I hope we can get there. It's a big ask, but I'm hoping to get to 500 by spring and then get the amount of view hours done hopefully by 4th of July, so I can start pumping the summer away with like monetization to start putting out more videos and kind of getting myself start doing this again, where I kind of basically took all of 2025 off from putting anything on the internet besides doing live streams. I was more of like I told you, kind of like returning back to normal and basically trying to just get my head clear and figure out what the destination is for me and stuff. And that took a little while that I wanted it to, but you know, like I said, you just got to be patient. It's God's will, not mine. I'm just waiting and stuff. So, but you know, when you call upon Him and you wait, you will be blessed. And now I'm starting to see the rewards from it all. So, yeah, I'm excited what this year brings. I'm excited to see what the prices of precious metals do. You know, I'm going to keep buying when I can, little by little. When I can't buy, no big deal. I'm not going to worry about it. When I need to sell, I'm not going to be like, oh man, I wish I didn't. I'd just be happy that I had it. You know, just trying to change the mindset and find the pun intended silver lining in it all, instead of always thinking, oh, I should have done this, or man, I wish I had more, or oh, I don't want to say. Just all the what ifs are all safe for the Marvel movies. And just, you know, I don't, just let them go. No regret. Don't look back. No pillars of salt for me. Yeah, just keep moving. God is good. I'm blessed. That's all that matters. Everything else is a free roll.
Long lived and me put your link into the chat, so you all go over, hit up Shawn now with subscribers. YouTube is picky. Yeah. If you just hit the subscriber, they're going to think you're a bot and they're going to take you out. Okay. What you need to do is go watch a video, comment, hit the like, and best yet, hit the bell notification. All those things will tell YouTube you're not a bot, and they'll leave your subscribing alone. And it doesn't cost you anything.
I am not a robot. I'm a robot. I got robot eyes, robot arms. JP.
So those are the big ticket items. Hit the subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave a comment. And what was the other thing I said? Did I say them all? I think I did. So if you do all those things, you're going to stay.
Subscribe, hit the bell, skis.
Your voice went out.
Say no. Uh-oh.
You went down again.
Say no. Give it to me.
Yeah, Barbara just subscribed to you also.
Jeez, please fix this. Awesome.
Barbara's new to me, and I can tell you in this short period of time, I've been extremely impressed with how nice she is. She's just really, really, really super nice, very supportive. So I think I'm going to do something. I think we're going to turn Barbara into a Smurf. Now, it looks like we have our buddies. Let's see here. It looks like we got our buddy Stacking Surfer here. You back home, Surfer?
Surf's up, buddy. Yeah, man.
If the surf wasn't up for him today, it was the airports. Hey, James. So let's see
surfing up at the airport.
Yeah, let's see what Barbara sees now that she's going to. I'm 30,000 feet in the air. You must have the ability to link in on the airplane. Never really quite worked that one out.
Don't become that Malaysian flight though. Yeah. Anyway.
Got a Delta One upgrading, laying flat in the air. He went first class, dude. He's laying down in one of those. You're welcome, Barbara. She's finally realized that I turned her into Smurfette.
This bed, you Smurfette. I like it. If she's Smurfette, then who's Azrael?
So, Surfer made mention when he was live streaming that he doesn't exactly agree with me about the topic of confiscation. And I didn't have a chance to get in there because, I think he was like in between airplanes and maybe having some technical issues. I don't 100% agree with what you're saying, Surfer, or what Lynette says, because, well, first of all, I did a whole video on executive orders, laws, and constitution regarding money. And for the entirety of that, I really would like it if you went and looked at the channel. I'll try to figure out which video it is while I'm talking to you all. But basically, hold on a second. Let me see if I can find it really quick. All right, let's see if it pops up. Yeah, there we go. Let me bring this up on the screen. It's this one right here. Executive orders, gold and confiscation. So if you go into that, it explains it in much greater detail than what I could have done earlier today. So feel free to hop there. But basically, you had the executive orders from, very few agree with me on the subject, so I don't discuss it much. Actually, to be honest with you, you could be right in the future, but the executive order on December 31st, 1974, Gerald R. Ford superseded all the executive orders in 1933 because there was more than just 1601 from FDR. They superseded all those. They superseded the one in 1963 from John F. Kennedy. And otherwise, we wouldn't be allowed to have more than 5 ounces of this because that executive order would still be in effect.
Yep.
So it's been overruled from a later president. However, you could have another president who, it doesn't matter if Gerald Ford was a deep state plant or not. He wrote and signed the executive order. Therefore, when he signed it, it superseded JFK and FDR. However, there could be any time in the future another executive order. Now, it would have to be a freshly written. It can't say, well, we're superseding Ford's and we want to go back to FDR. It would have to be another written order and signed by a sitting president to either be very similar to what FDR wanted or a completely different set of rules to confiscate gold and silver or both. But currently, we are under Gerald Ford's 1974, December 31st, 1974 executive order. There was also, let me see here, I'm going to pull it up on my phone real fast. Hold on. Trying to get to the right section here. Hold on.
Good.
Okay. I Googled this when I was eating dinner with the wife. It says, yes, Gerald Ford's action in 1974 effectively overrun FDR's 1933 Executive Order 1602. Ford signed legislation that via Public Law 93-373 legalized private ownership of gold coins, bars, and certificates, repealing the ban that had been placed since the Depression era. The repeal, effective December 31st, 1974, restored Americans' right to own gold, a right curtailed by FDR's order and subsequent legislation. And that's just the short version of it. So, but I've done a complete study on executive orders, laws, and the Constitution. That doesn't mean that we couldn't have another executive order that confiscates again, but it won't be FDR's order. It doesn't mean that we couldn't have a law that is put through by Congress, signed by the president, or if was vetoed, be overridden by the Congress and the Senate. So that's pretty much how it works. But feel free to go watch that video because I worked hard at trying to research that. He says if they need the gold and the silver, or if they don't want people to hold sound money, they will tax it heavily. I'm not debating that. You know, desperate governments do desperate things. So, you know, they'll try any tactic that they want to try if they're desperate enough and if they have the right people that they want in office. So, you know, they can try anything they want.
Anything could happen.
You know, but desperate governments do desperate things, taught to me by my very first teacher. So basically thanks, sir, I appreciate it. I think you'll really enjoy that. Look, Barbara says, look up Dr. Brzezinski. Okay. Barbara, would you do me a favor? Would you send me an email to thetigerstacker@gmail.com and send me some link or whatever on that to go look him up? Because I'm really horrible with names. But no, we're getting back on topic. Governments will do whatever they think they want to do. In fact, I've got a video in Evolution right now talking about that. I'm going to release it in a not so distant future. And I know my buddy Surfer. He's still stacking as best as he can, despite all the all the higher prices. And says, "Yep, that's all I'm saying. Desperate governments will do it, dude. They're all a bunch of desperate governments right now. That's going to come out in one of my next videos. That's in evolution. I think you all. I don't know if all of you have thought about it the way I think about it, and I'm not going to give it away because I want you all to really watch it. But I think those of you who haven't thought about it the way I presented it in that video will give you a really good education from the past trying to repeat itself. So, and it doesn't mean only just monetarily the past repeating itself. Please go watch that video. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but basically, it's going to explain a lot, at least from what I believe is the truth. Now, like I always said, Shawn, I don't have any of God's omnipotence and none of Solomon's wisdom. But I have been given a certain level of intelligence and the gift of seeing patterns. And my pattern recognition tends to be one of my best gifts from God.
Yeah. He will give the sight to those that call upon him, and those that pray for discernment will be able to see past the veil. I can say the same thing too, Surfer. I'm Tiger, sorry. I prayed for discernment in 2020, basically right before the pandemic came. And after I did that, basically I felt the Lord's presence around me. And ever since then, I started to be able to see things I couldn't see and be able to, like you said, recognize patterns. And it says that, in the days before Christ returned, it said that people will have dreams and people will have visions of what is to come. People who are actually chosen, people who decide to walk with him. When you walk with him, you walk with truth. You don't accept lies anymore. And those who really walk with them, you like myself personally, during my walk, I can't lie anymore. It's weird. I used to have a big problem with lying. I'd lie to people all the time and try to make myself look better, or if I messed up, I wouldn't take ownership for it. Now it's like I can't lie anymore. But it's a good thing though. It's a good thing to be able to not do that anymore and not feel like you have to, because liars don't make it to heaven. It says in the book. But anyway, but yeah, back to what you were saying. Yeah, when you literally walk with him, man, you pray for discernment. It says in the book, he will grant you the sight. Not everybody might be able to see certain things that people see, and there might be different levels. But if you truly surrender yourself to him and literally let go of the world and let him take over, he will basically put you in the passenger seat. He will basically be your ways. He'll tell you what's coming. Police officer 1 mile ahead, turn right in a half mile on this. Yeah, he's like your GPS, or people sometimes don't have them. They're wandering around the area and no one have no idea where they're going in their lives, right? But it's real.
Exactly.
He will give people the ability to see certain things, and a lot of people like that, they'll get made fun of, they'll get laughed at. They laughed at Noah for hundreds of years building a big ass boat in the middle of the desert. It ain't gonna rain. What are you doing out here, banging on the trees, making all this noise in the middle of the desert? You crossed your mind. Yeah, when the rains came, they were banging on the doors. So, it's I pray for discernment for everybody. I really do, because when you have discernment, you really understand things. Your life's a lot easier.
That's true.
You're able to see certain things. You're not you don't lie anymore. You don't make lies for anybody or yourself. You feel better about yourself. You feel better about the direction you're heading, even if you don't know where you're going, because you know that the person you have with you is not going to let you fall off. And if he does, he's going to let you do for a little bit just to test your faith. And when you come back on, he's going to bless you tenfold or more.
Well, just on the topic of lies, sins, even mistakes, or what I like to call accidental sins. You sinned, but you didn't even know you did it until after you did it.
I'm guilty of that too.
We're not perfect.
No, none of us are.
But if you are a stand upright grown up and you acknowledge, hey, I just lied, I just did something wrong, I did something maybe even totally evil, and you come forth with it, you will be forgiven.
It's a big step, first of all, for the big person to be able to do that.
You
It's a
will be
big,
forgiven. And the most recent time this has happened to me is when I went to the movies with my wife. She's letting me get her out of the house more often, dude. It is so cool to date her again.
nice.
We went to go see the animated movie David.
Haven't seen that yet.
No, you got to. It's a wonderful movie. It's a
Yeah, I've seen the
wonderful
pictures
musical.
for it.
But my wife looked at me and she saw me weeping, and she didn't understand why, because it was a beautiful musical. Well, I was overwhelmed by the fact that David, who was very close to God, especially in his youth, uh, made some very bad mistakes and got himself in a load of trouble going after Bathsheba and trying to get rid of her husband so he could have her.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of trials and tribulations he went through after which, but yet he came clean. And from that bloodline, God gave us Mary and subsequently Jesus. He could have chosen someone that was, maybe less sinful if such a person exists. I will be singing along once I learn the lyrics. Surfer said, "Did you sing along?" When I don't know the lyrics, I just listen a lot until I learn them.
That's when you put the closed captions on and try to read it faster than it comes out. Actually, yeah, it's like
Yeah.
karaoke.
Oh yeah. Little side note: if you all saw the video my brother-in-law did for my last birthday in November, um, he animated Tiger, and there was a wonderful song that was there. Surfer was playing the bass guitar, and not bass guitar, but
I remember
the
seeing
stand-up bass. And I finally learned the lyrics because I played it so much because I was just so amazed to have a brother-in-law that loves me so much. And I started singing. I'm like, holy smoke. And he's like, my wife's like, what? Says, your brother AI'd my voice. That's my voice. He says, I know. Well, you never told me. So, if you ever want to hear what I sound like when I'm singing, especially when I'm at my A1 game, that's what it sounds like. And I don't know how he did it, but he AI'd my voice. And then he just recently did one where he wanted to let me know that he and the rest of the family in Ukraine are standing with me as I'm fighting cancer. I still have yet to get him on the computer. I want to know if he AI'd his own voice. So just since we did talk about singing.
Yeah, you guys AI'd that picture of me on the live clip thing you did. I thought that was pretty cool. I was like, wait a minute, that's a clearest picture of me on the internet with my, 480 DPI resolution that everyone's seeing me in, and the muffled, scratchy voice. So again, I apologize for my lack of video quality, whatever. I don't have like the latest stuff, but anyway.
Well, that's not me. I can't claim that technology expertise. That's my brother-in-law. He does all that stuff. I just took the previous one that the thumbnail from the previous live that we did. I downloaded it, erased the previous word, selling, and put in the new word unobtainium and uploaded it that way.
It looks super cool. I was like, that's
Now,
pretty
I learned that skill from Frosty. I'm learning how to make thumbnails, and my brother-in-law teases me and says my thumbnails look like a kindergartner did it. So
whatever.
He's a scream. Anyway, we're at almost 2 hours, And your battery's probably really close to dying.
27%. I'm surprising. 27% holding strong for an older device. So God is good. God's like, I'm giving you juice. Don't worry. Normally you'd be at 4%, but I'm giving you an extra 25%. So,
Yeah, you were 4% last time we did this.
yeah, I had to do the kind of like the fast. Oh, I got to go. Bye. Thanks, everybody. You know, the quick sign offs and thanks, everybody. And basically had to do the whole thing where you talk too long at the awards and when they kick on the music and they're like, all right, I think got to go. You know, so I'm trying to hopefully not have that again where I have to do a quick sign off. I'll let you know when we have low that whatever you're ready to sign off. We'll make it happen. It's all good.
I'm getting ready to close it. I wanted to go for an hour, and I got into enjoying the conversation so much in multiple different directions. So obviously, I stayed a little longer. But one of the things I do want to bring to the fact is this: I want this channel to build. It's one of the many reasons I'm not letting cancer take me. The first and foremost is I'm not leaving my wife. I really love the girl. She's the best girl I ever met. She tolerates me, and trust me, I wouldn't tolerate me. But she's the best girl I ever met, and that's the number one reason I'm staying. The number two reason is I want to spend time with my grandchildren. And God willing, that will happen. Number three reason is I want to teach my grandchildren. Hopefully YouTube will still have my videos up when they are adults and have their own families, and they'll learn, because history doesn't repeat. You're always going to have governments trying to take advantage of their people. It's going to happen during their time too. The number fourth reason, as I'm teaching my grandchildren, you all, I want to be taught with everything that I am learning or have learned. And I want you all to be as protected as possible. Okay? That's why I've got 2 videos in evolution right now. One of them I think I'll release tomorrow. I'm not going to tell you what they are. I alluded to one. I'm not going to allude to both. But I want to build this channel. And thanks to all of you, I'm now at 3,000 subscribers. So I want to get to a point where I'm at 5,000 subscribers. Get me to 5,000 subscribers, and I'll be not raffling, but giving away 5 ounces of silver. I'm not sure if it'll be one person getting it or if it'll be 5 people getting it, but I want to bring it to that point.
That's awesome.
Now, I will tell you, we're sitting at 47 likes. Get your name into the chat. If you haven't liked, give a like. That'll be 2 dimes then that'll be given away. As we give these 2 dimes away, you have 2 days, 48 hours, to send me a claiming email at thetigerstacker@gmail.com. Will one of my moderators please put that into the chat? You have to send it to me because I print them off to make sure that I can stay on focus, because my wife does distract me a lot. She's not only pretty, but she always wants me to do something. So I print it off and it keeps me in check, and then I'll process it and get it sent out. By the way, little side note, everyone that I owed winnings to, they went out today. Okay. I know some of you have been waiting weeks for it. So basically, those of you who have won, they've been processed. They're now in the postal system. They're coming your way. I'm not very fast, but you do get them. Ask Baba Wawa. She waited a while for one time, and she's like, "Did you forget about me?" No, Baba, I took care of you, but I do get it out. Thank you, Grumpy. But basically, 2 days. If you pass those 2 days, you forfeit your winnings. And it might not sound like a silver dime, but what is it now? $6 a piece?
Yeah, 6 and change.
That's nothing to be sneezed at. Free silver.
$2 and change a couple months ago.
So yeah, isn't that the truth?
Did I had the 10? Can you imagine $10 dime?
Yeah, that's coming.
Coming.
That is coming.
$10 dimes.
So get the chat going. Hurry up. I'll give you a couple minutes here to
How,
see here.
how crazy is that to think a $10 dime that 1 cent face value is equal to $1? It's 100 to 1. That's crazy,
Yeah.
isn't it?
You want to see something really interesting?
Wow.
I did a video real early on. Very impressive. I did this video. Let me see if I can pull it up. I called it "Worsening Trends Exposed." Okay, here we go. It's this one right here. Now, previous to this is one of my earlier videos, so about 2 years ago. Previous to this, I talked about all the lessons I learned from my grandfather. And now I'm old enough to be a grandfather, and I talked about the things that I've experienced in my lifetime, which finally woke me up to what's going on with the precious metals and all that. And I talked about how much a house costs versus someone's income, and the car and food and respect and police and all sorts of other things. So if you want a little bit of a education from someone who's not a young guy anymore, it's a good video to watch. Let me refresh my screen here.
So
I'm at 48 likes.
2 more. I got 2 more homes for 2 dimes. 2 pairs home, 2 pairs.
Okay, I got 1 more minute. 1 more minute. I'm shutting her down.
Likes. You got 1 minute to get 2 more. We got 1 minute to get 2 likes. Come on, people, give them 2 more. Yeah, I can't sing.
That's okay. I like your hat.
I can hold the melody and the rhythm, but the sound of it's like, it's off-putting. Don't quit your day jobs, dude. Don't go on American Idol. Don't go see Simon.
How you like my hat?
It's pretty cool, dude. The little trucker tiger.
It was sent to me by Frostbite as a Christmas present.
That's pretty cool, man. The tiger trucker. Yeah, I like it.
Okay.
Well, yeah, 50, we get 50 yet? Come on, bro. We give them 50 likes. 50. 50 likes. Come on.
So I'm still at 48, and I am currently at 3,000. Oh, come on, computer. 3,007 subscribers. Thank you all for that.
Nice. Heck yeah. That is.
Barbara says it's 51.
Uh-oh.
Okay. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to change this to live chat. Go to participants.
Someone's getting some dimes.
Okay.
Silver dimes going in your stack, coming from the Tiger Stacker. West Virginia, silver dimes. West Virginia, silver mama. Give me dimes. Send me home. There's the wheel. You spin me right round, wheel. You spin. It's not rigged because Tiger's gonna spin the wheel. Give me some dime, me some silver dimes. I want silver dime, me $6.
Now, if there's any members or something like that, we'll just take that out and run it again.
Yeah, we'll re-spinning.
Yeah. Now, if my name comes up, it'll be coming from Stacking Surfer. Oh, who said that?
Oh, I heard that. I think that's law. He's got to send dimes from the air. He's got to drop. Yeah. He's got to go over to people's house and drop a dime out the window of the plane. Here's your dime.
Okay, so let's run this. The winner of the first dime is. Whoops.
Spin sugar. Spin for me. And the winner is
Ben's
oh my buddy.
Ann's
That's my boy.
24.
That's my guy. Yeah, Ben, my dude. Heck yeah, dude.
Congratulations.
Nice. Solid win, dude. Heck yeah. That's super awesome.
So I took you out, and we're going to do this again.
Spin, spin, sugar. Spin for me. Spin, spin, sugar. And the winner is
Mark Gottschall.
Gotcha. 2914. Nice. Nice win, Mark.
Congratulations, Mark, on your win.
Heck yeah.
And I had to hurry up and turn down the volume. I'm told that if I don't turn down the volume, it's really loud.
It's not too loud. It's a little bit. It's kind of like when the commercials come on and during the YouTube videos, and it makes it like 5 decibels louder. It's not too bad, but it's you may, I don't know if it's like programmed to be a certain volume. I don't know how any of this stuff works at all, but it might be like you go in there and turn it to a 21 to a 16. I don't know.
That'll
no
work.
idea how this stuff works. No idea. I hate all this technology. I really do. Part of me was like, how do the Amish live like this? I could never do that. Now I'm like, you know what? I kind of admire their lifestyle, and I think I could probably do it now because all this stuff is just making us all reliant on this. And when it all goes, we're like, oh my God, I can't log online. I can't do this. Everyone's got like Stockholm syndrome where they don't have their freaking phones and stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, I remember years and years ago. This should tell you how old I am. When computers were Windows 3.11. Do you remember those days?
Yes.
And you still had to know some of the DOS commands because it wasn't as integrated as it is now. It was at that time I stopped being a computer liking person because I heard my then little son running around the house and realized I wasn't participating with him. I was wasting the best years of his life.
Well, tell parents to take the damn cell phones out of the kids or stop giving them smartphones when they're under double digits and send them outside. It's funny. I was watching a video the other day about how like the kids nowadays couldn't handle the kids in the 80s from our time.
Oh yeah,
started that meltdown because it's weird how the economy is now where, if kids are punished, they're punished by being like like they don't get the cell phones. They get punished by going outside. Where like outside for us was like being awesome, and being inside was being punished.
Exactly.
Whereas like going outside is like being punished because you don't get your cell phone. Whereas inside, it's weird how that culture shifted, where being outside was where it's at to now being outside. Yeah. It's like, no, I don't want to go outside. It's not,
I remember as a kid, I'd take my hoodie because back then the hoodie zipped in the front and they're made out of that very thin polymer.
Yeah.
I would run up and down the street pretending to be Batman. All the neighbors, all the adult neighbors knew, that was my favorite hero at the time. And all the stuff that I used to do, I used to climb the what do we call it? I forget what it was, but it was a little mountain made out of slate. We went up there and picked berries and played baseball and, got in fist fights and, everything that boys do. I remember my mom, because it was a little tiny coal mining patch, and I wasn't allowed to go into the other street. She didn't like the people on the other street. They were a little bit more rowdy, a little bit
little rough around the corners. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah, but I would get on my bike and go, and she knew when I was on the wrong side of the patch. I came home and she gave it to me, dude. She wanted me off that rougher street, and I didn't care. All I cared about was seeing how fast I can make my bike go. And how many times I jumped that bike. I put it up on little wooden blocks with those cinder blocks and the wood
Oh
ramps.
yeah. Oh, that was back in the that was good stuff back in the day.
Oh
Fall off the
yeah,
bike, whatever. To just get back up and do it again. Not crying your mom and your
yeah.
mom to dump a gallon of freaking, what's that stuff called? The sanitizer solution. Just dump it down
The,
to you.
the orange one. It'll come
Yeah.
to me. It burned like crazy, but
Yeah. Hey,
yeah,
hey,
we all jumped our bikes trying to be Evil Knievel, if you remember that name.
yeah, I do. Yeah, yeah. Freaking Evil Knievel and Super Dave and stuff cartoons. Yeah, that was.
Oh yeah,
Was
well, I don't remember Super Dave. I remember Evil Knievel.
Yeah, Super Dave came after Evil. Evil Knievel was the original, and Super Dave kind of came after him. He was more like a
Okay.
cartoon thing anyway. But hey, I got 6% here, so I wanted
Yeah.
to get.
Oh, you went down fast. So.
Yeah. Whenever it goes to like less than 15%, it's like just drops.
Well, I wanted to say good night to everyone anyway. Shawn, thank you for coming up again with me. I had a wonderful time, just like I did last time.
Pleasure, man. My pleasure, dude. I enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to keep doing this. I appreciate everybody staying around and checking us out for the last 2 hours, spending your Thursday night with us. I really do appreciate it. Tiger, I'm appreciative of what time you give me. And again, like I said, I'm looking forward to doing this. Yeah, unobtainium, it's going to come to the point where certain metals are going to basically price out to most of the people. So,
and if it prices you out, just start going to fractional.
Yeah, it's not too late. You can buy fractional. If Bank of America is saying the silver's going to get to $300 by the end of the year, then $90 is a great buy. Don't think about, I should have bought the 20 and it's too late. No, it's not too late. You can just put yourself on a slow buying path to where when you need it in the future, it's going to be there. Don't, like you said, become your own bank. Don't rely on these banks that don't care about you, who will judge you by your either past mistakes or mistakes that you didn't intend to make, or life events happen to you, like you getting divorced. You probably didn't want to get divorced, but she had other thoughts. But because she had other thoughts and put you in that position, you now have to basically deal with what life handed you, right? And no one knows what happens tomorrow. So it's just another fiery signature under the kitchen sink. You pray you never have to use it, but when you need the stopping power, it's something that's in your life. It's there. Gold and silver has been around since Christ walked the earth, whether if you believe in him or not. No matter whatever kind of currency reset happens here, it's still going to be around. So just, if you haven't started buying metals, go ahead and start doing it. And if you have been buying metals, cool. Keep on your budget, keep going, and just any questions, feel free to come to us. We'll be willing to answer them.
Most certainly. So thanks, Shawn, for everything. Thank you all for coming up.